Yes, sir. We got the mighty kings in here. We got the mighty brothers. We got Amanak, Wadash, Shawaba War, Shalom Kings. And we not even captains, man. We officers, like. We're not captains yet.
And we ain't no captain.
What we going about? Should we do Q&A? We got Soldier Azaniah in here. Shalom King. And you all good, King. All praises. Hey, bro, do you like papaya? All right. Yep. Say something.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You like papaya, though? I couldn't hear nothing.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect now. You sound amazing.
Yeah,
But do you like papaya?
I like the what?
Papaya. I didn't think so.
You need to
No. Last time I had papaya, it was awful. But I'm gonna try it again soon. You know how it be. We got Aunt Don in here. Shalom. Bro, don't act like that, bro. You know exactly how it be. Hey, I'm finna actually let everybody know something, bro. This nigga Aharon don't like watermelon. He a phony.
It's true.
He's a big fat phony.
Pass out the bag.
What you scratching?
It was something on my screen.
Yeah, so We still don't know if Aharon is Israelite or not.
Yeah. My problem is, whenever somebody showed me in the scripts where niggas was eating watermelons, that's when I kind of dabble a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. Not a problem, boss.
Go ahead.
Numbers chapter 11 and verse 5. We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers, which is a part of the melon family, and the melons, and the leeks, and the onions, and the garlic. So we don't know if you're Israelite, like I was saying, bro.
I said watermelon.
Come on now, but
Nah, brother. I'm talking about watermelons, big dog.
Got it, bro. You got it, bro.
I know I got it. I got it. I know I got it.
Yeah, so like I was saying, man, it's kind of up in the air. What's up, though? We doing a Q&A today? Want to jump into some Proverbs?
What'd you say?
You want to jump into some Proverbs? Well, how you feeling?
Man, it don't matter. I'm trying to get my damn computer. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. My shit keep like lagging and going slow every now and then. And it's like hard for me to hear you every now and then.
Bro. Malachi watched, what is his name? Alizar debated Dr. The Edomite. Yep. I can't remember his name. But that same
Richard?
guy that, was it Richard Brown? I don't know. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he was an Edomite, right? That same doctor, he ended up having a debate with the debate was it was something crazy. It was is Muhammad in the Bible? Is Muhammad prophesied in the Bible? They debated over that. And of course the Edomite was on the side of no. And then the other guy was on the side of yes, and he's trying to prove that Muhammad is prophesied in the Bible. And bro, it was such a nasty debate. It was so dirty. I didn't even watch it. But Malachi did, and he telling me like every like few minutes, he like, bro, this man just said this. He said this. And he said this. He had some I ain't never heard nobody debate that. He trying to prove that Muhammad was prophet. He used Deuteronomy 18 and 18. He said that was Muhammad. Have you ever heard of that before?
I heard of that being pulled for that, yeah.
What? Where do I be? Because I ain't never heard of that before. Ever.
You under a rock, brother.
I guess so, because I'm not even trying to hear the debate over that. Ever. 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 Yeah. Man, I guess we could do some Proverbs with a light Q&A. Man, so do you know about the agnostic?
Heard about them.
Right, me too. And lately this week, I don't know. Oh, me and Malachi, we was reading like 1 Timothy chapter 4. And then we was trying to figure out why Paul said certain stuff. So, we looking into it some more. And then we found out that, he was kind of addressing the agnostics and their doctrine. And they doctrine basically more or less, your salvation is, you get salvation by how much, like by attaining knowledge. It's not about works and it's not about faith. It's about knowledge. If you ain't got knowledge, you're not making it. They was on some spooky kind of time. So it was spooky, bro. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. I didn't even know that. Iranius, he was going into it too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't get into that shit because they go over eons and it's a lot of weird,
That's what
spooky
I've
stuff.
seen. That's what I've seen. It was like I seen that word appear so many times. I wasn't feeling that.
Yeah,
I wasn't feeling it.
they believe that angels created the heavens and the earth without God knowing. Like God didn't
And,
know anything.
and basically they allude to the God of the Old Testament being bad and the God of the New Testament being good. They was getting into some spooky, funky shit.
Yeah, that's Christianity today. To be honest with you.
Bruh. I actually wanted to read one of the chapters with you because it made me think of he was going over I believe it was like the fourth chapter. I was reading it, I was like, this kind of I didn't read all the way through it because it was so much, but it was talking about how people, use scriptures, like people be into different spiritualities. And this is what you was just talking about. When you dealing with spiritual people and they not in the truth, they got their own doctrine, but they are pull a precept or quote a scripture and loop it around a doctrine, and just to make their doctrine and their belief system and their spirituality seem like it has some kind of authenticity, um and like some kind of backbone, but it really don't, you know what I'm saying? But he was diving deep into that, and I'm like, golly, that spirit is still mighty walking around earth. Spiritual people be niggas who believe in chakras and auras and getting deep into that kind of stuff, and they'd pull out one scripture, they'd teach you all about this other stuff and energy and spooky stuff, and then they might throw one scripture on there, and you kind of start thinking like, So to give everybody kind of a
Now you folded.
back right now, you kind of don't know if the truth is the truth no more, and you kind of meditating on a doctrine. So me and Aharon, we was talking uh last week, and we was like, I think Aharon asked us, he was like, would you rather, it was a would you rather, right? Aharon be coming up with the best would you rathers. He said, would you rather sit down and listen to a Christian sermon, a Christian pastor sermon for an entire hour, or would you rather deal with us hearing, listening to a spiritual, what you say,
Uh,
to
um,
some kind of spiritual guy?
Conscious community nigga.
Yeah. Would you rather listen to a conscious community guy talk for an hour? And now I'm asking the chat, which one would y'all rather listen to for a whole hour? A Christian, a nasty Christian pastor, or a spooky conscious community kind of guy? What y'all got? What y'all got? Hmm. What y'all got? Which one y'all picking? I think Aharon said he'd go with the Christian pastor. I said, man, I can't stand them niggas, man. Aharon hate Christianity, but he got a good breakdown on why he'd take the Christian pastor. I'm going with the conscious nigga. I'm going with the conscious nigga, man. Malachi said he'd go with the conscious guy too. Christian pastor would be funny. Conscious community would make no sense. Man, them conscious niggas be spitting sometimes, man. That's the problem
You
though.
get the right one.
You
You
deal
get
with
the
the
right
right.
one.
Hey, I mean, you listen to um they be saying stuff that makes sense, but they say stuff that don't make sense too. Obviously that goes without saying. Because they be throwing like facts in there. It be, they'd tell you something that's about your body and you ain't know, or health benefits. I'm thinking about Yaki. He'll say a lot of stuff that, makes sense.
Yeah,
But then, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You'll
We
see
gotta
stuff that's
think.
like, say it again.
My bad. We gotta think like, because we really didn't put no stipulation on who we listening to. Like, you got your sucky conscious community niggas, and you got your 19 keys conscious community niggas. You know what I'm saying? And then you got your weak Christians and your weak pastors, but some of them kind of tough. I ain't gonna lie, some of them like, yeah, he's spitting. So it just depends.
All right, check this out. It says the agnostics taught that the world was created by the demiurge or satanic power. So they believed that the world was created by a satanic power. It says, which they often associated with the God of the Old Testament, and that there is total opposition between this world and God. So you had a whole sect of people, and they were agnostics, and it's so much information on agnostics, so it's not like I'm gonna tell you the whole breakdown to agnostics. I just know bits and pieces from what I looked up, throughout this week, the last few days. I know that agnostics, they believe that the world was created, like I said, from an evil power, and a lot of times they associate that evil power and how the world was created with God of the Old Testament, right? And then the God of the New Testament, is the good God, the loving, the benevolent God. He's loving and caring. You know what I'm saying? Agnostics believe that you have to separate yourself from everything that was material. So the agnostics was on this kind of time. If I was to go to Oklahoma City, or let's say you need to get somewhere and it was 3 hours away from where you are, they're on the kind of time where no, we're not finna take a car. You gotta kind of walk, because that's material. You gotta separate yourself from all material. That stuff is of the world. So they will look at a car and be like, that's worldly. You're not gonna, if you partake in that, you're not making it to heaven. You see what I'm saying? They was on times like that. They start making stuff that's not a sin. That's what kind of time they was on. And that's the same kind of time Christianity be on. Right? DeBar told me when was this? Maybe like 2 nights ago, we was chopping it up. And he was like, I was talking to a guy at my job, and DeBar said, he asked him what sin was, and he said it was an Issachar. It was like the Issachar was like, he gave him a situation where you would be in sin. He was like, if I'm at the grocery store and I walk down the aisle and I see a loaf of bread on the floor and I don't pick it up, that's sin, brother. That's sin. So I'm telling y'all this just to connect those two dots. A lot of Christians are, coming from a place of agnosticism. You know, they think that everything is a sin. Everything is not a sin. All right, it's other stuff too, but that was some of the stuff worth mentioning. Um, yes. Exactly. Right. And we had early church fathers who was dealing with this, who was dealing with these kind of heresies. Right. So this is what a heresy is. A heresy, make sure my screen up. A heresy, it says belief or opinion that is contrary to orthodox religious doctrine. All right. So a lot of our forefathers, if they hear something that's off and it's not according to the scriptures, they're, hey, look, that's bad doctrine. That's called a heresy. So that's for the brothers and sisters who didn't know that. Right. And you'll see this throughout the scriptures. All right. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shah. Lord willing, we can edify y'all and break bread with y'all like we normally do on a Shabbat. So let's get heresy. I want, what is that? That's thinking of Titus. Let's see. It's 3 and 10. 3 and 10. So check this out. This is Titus chapter 3. I'll start at verse 9. It says, but avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain. A man that is a heretic, after the first and second admonition, reject, knowing that he that is subverted and sinneth, being condemned of himself. So mind you, when you read in the book of Titus, I'm gonna get back to that. Let's go to Titus chapter 1 real quick. It says, Paul, a servant of God and an apostle of Yahushua Mashiach, according to the faith of God's elect, and the acknowledging of the truth, which is after godliness. I'm going to jump down to verse 4. To Titus, my own son, after the common faith, grace, mercy, and peace from God the Father and Lord Yahushua Mashiach, our Savior. For this cause I left Crete, that thou shouldest set in order things that were wanting, or things that are wanting, and ordain elders in every city as I have appointed thee. So just like with Timothy, Paul did the same thing, right? How Paul treated Timothy, Paul did the same thing with Titus, right? Paul pulled up to Ephesus. Hey, he was setting things in order. But then when he went to Macedonia, he left Timothy in charge of the church at Ephesus and getting things in order. Same thing with Titus. He was in Crete. He ordained Titus to be this guy and to set up the church how he wanted it to be set up and to teach the truth, you know what I'm saying, and be a pastor, a minister to the people that's in Crete. He told them the do's and the don'ts, right? He breaking it down, things that you want to do, things that you don't want to do, you know what I'm saying? He kind of put it in his hand, right? So let's go back to this. So, that's why you see, like when you read Titus, right? Like this is a classic chapter, right? He tells Titus, look, this is how the men should be. Then he said the women should be like this. They should be holy, not accusers, not false accusers, not giving too much wine, teachers of good things. He's teaching Titus how a church should be ran, how to deal with certain men, how to deal with certain women, how to teach men how to set their households in order. So he breaking bread with them. Right? If y'all don't know by now, Paul was top tier. He was top tier, and he did more work than any other apostle. At least that's what's recorded. It says Titus chapter 3 and 8, 3 and 9. It says, but avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and strivings about the law, for they are profitable in vain. It says, a man that is a heretic after the first and second admonition reject, knowing that he that is such is subverted and sinneth, being condemned of itself. So the reason why I went right here, because whenever I think of a heresy, I think of a heretic, right? Those things is in the scriptures, right? Heresy is even in the scriptures. I pulled it up in Acts, but I didn't read it because I was thinking of this scripture. But you will have heresies. You have people who's going against sound doctrine, and they're making their own doctrine, right? They might be into idolatry. They might be believing in multiple gods and trying to throw the God of the Bible into the doctrine. They might be they might not believe in Hamashiach, right? You got all kind of heresy, you got all kind of doctrine just out today, right? You got all kind of heresies, all kind of doctrines, all kind of walks of life, all kind of religions, and it's just crazy out there. It's hard to find the truth. But if the Most High God call you, you're gonna know the truth. But this is one of the things that Paul taught Titus. You want to avoid foolish questions. So sometimes when you teach in the Bible, when you're putting things in order, when you're a minister, when you're a teacher, when you're edifying people, you really get this. Whenever you got a church or a camp or a body of people, you have you have to have the knowledge, man. You gotta have the knowledge because you can't lead nobody if you don't have it. So you'll start getting foolish questions. I mean, just madness. People coming with their own doctrines, and you got to be able to, you got to know how to deal with it. But
So like you.
go ahead.
We gotta think about it too, because this is something that priest Daniel always go over, and it's like it. He always go over how there were men during these times, even during the time of Christ and during the time the apostles was living, doctrines was still coming out. Doctrines are coming out. You got people coming up, saying like it was this one man, the Nicolaitans, right? Nicholas. Christ speaks about that doctrine. He said the doctrine of the Nicolaitans, which I hate. You got people arising during these times that's teaching, and people are starting to follow them more than, because they're seducing doctrines. They're starting to follow them more than they're following the apostles and more than they're following the Messiah, right? So if doctrine started arising even during the time of Christ, and it just trickles down, how much more now? How much more has these doctrines evolved? How much more doctrine showed up? So it's always been doctrines here. It's always been people splitting up for certain reasons and doctrinal reasons and getting taken out of the faith. It's always been that, and it's always going to be that. So if the doctrine and the truth was hard to find back then, even with the apostles on the scene, how much more now? But it's back on you. You on mute, by the way.
If the doctrine was hard to find when the Messiah was on the scene, the apostles was on the scene, the early church fathers was on the scene, how much more now? And like if you be patient with the truth, because a brother like Shawab, right, a beautiful spirit, right? He has a desire to know doctrine. He wants to know doctrine. He wants to know the laws. He wants to, he wants to be knowledgeable, right? He trying to study to show himself approved, right? We watch you. I watch you, and I can tell that's the kind of spirit you have, Move at a good pace. Don't go at a pace that you can't keep for a long time. If the spirit is on you, it's different. But if the spirit is not on you, to dive deep in there, like understand that it's in the truth. You got seasons, right? You got spring, you got summer, you got fall, you got winter. The truth is like that's my experience. It's seasons to it, right? But one of the things that happens is that me and Ahran had certain questions. We had certain questions, or might even it might even for me was a doubt. Like, is this the right doctrine? I'm telling you, be patient and continue and abide in the word, bro. Over time, all of them questions get cleared up over time. Them it could be little things. It could be little things. It could be just a regular small scripture in the damn in Sirach. Over time, it gets answered. It could be something big in prophecy. Over time, it gets answered. Take your time. It could be in. It could be Paul's letters. Oh my goodness, Aharon, we had so many questions about Paul. So many. What is he talking about? Over time, them things get answered. Me and Aharon stayed the hell away from Paul. We stayed away from Paul because we couldn't understand it. Over time, we can jump into any one of his letters and have a decent understanding of what he's saying now. And we got to give credit where credit is due to Priest Daniel Allah. He's been mighty when it comes to teaching Paul's epistles and giving a sense. And what he'll give you the keys, bro. Because everybody knows that the Bible it was made by Israelites, right? It's lingo in there, it's key words, it's key phrases, and you start understanding those key words and phrases and what they mean. Them keys, you need those keys. If you don't got the keys, you're gonna be lost. Paul got a whole set of different keys and phrases. If you don't know certain keys and certain phrases and certain meanings, certain understandings, you're gonna be lost in that joint. You're gonna be lost. I tell you right now, Paul was not teaching anything spooky. Right? How do we know that? We got the keys and the phrases now. We got a lot of those keys now. Not only that, so you got the apostles, but then you got the early church fathers, man. You got like Timothy, he would be a early church father. He was over the church in Ephesus. But you got Irenaeus. Who else you got?
You got
Clement,
Ignatius,
right? Clement of Rome. Irenaeus. What was he over? Smyrna, or was it Ephesus too? I think it was Ephesus too.
Who are you talking about?
Irenaeus.
Irenaeus. I don't know.
I can just look it up. But go ahead.
You got Polycarp.
Polycarp.
Like I said, Ignatius, Justus. It's one. I think his name was Hermes. But the church fathers that we talking about, and mind you, we don't hold the church fathers over. It's all got a ranking order. It's all got a ranking order, right? You got Christ, the apostles, you got Paul, and then I hold the church fathers right under Paul, right? I don't put their doctrine over the apostles and Paul's doctrine, but they all kind of line up in some sort of fashion. But we're talking about the apostolic church fathers. These are the church fathers that was closest to the apostles, right? Like Polycarp was a disciple of John the apostle, and Irenaeus is a disciple of Polycarp. So you always, if you do go to church fathers, look at the apostolic church fathers. When you go down, you get to anti-Nicene church fathers, not anti as in anti as in pre, like pre-Nicene Council. You got those church fathers, which are down the line. The Nicene Council happened somewhere around 305 BC, no, 305 AD, I believe. So this is some time. This is some time after. So you got the anti-Nicene church fathers, and then after that, you got the post-Nicene church fathers. So you got to imagine if the doctrine and the gospel is changing, during the time of the Apostolic Church Fathers, how much more when you get to the anti-Nicene Church Fathers? How much more when you get to the post-Nicene Church Fathers? Right? So that's when shit get tricky. Like I said, I deal with the Apostolic Church Fathers, and even still, it's within the range of if they agree or not with what the apostles and what Paul and what Christ is teaching. You see what I'm saying? Because you got people, and you got a lot of heresies going on during this time. So you just got to divide the word of truth. But it's back on you.
So the reason why I brung up these early church fathers because we were talking about heresies and heretics, and it made me think of kind of what me and Aharon been doing. So, oh yeah, I remember how I kind of got here too. Salakia. I can't multitask, man. All right, so I start talking about Shawab because I could tell he's zealous for information and knowledge. And it made me think of how ever since we started, we've been zealous for knowledge, but seasons to it. One of the things that we've been on lately is like Aharon went into is the early church fathers, and you'll see like they doctrines like Clement of Rome. I think Clement of Rome is one of the most digestible early church fathers, right? And every single time he says anything, he'll quote the law. Like his doctrine is so easy to understand. It makes so much sense. It's exactly what we teach. Clement of Rome, right? You got a lot of brothers in the truth who vouch for Clement. Like Deacon, he said he deals with Clement heavy, right? I can't remember what video I seen it on. I think Aharon, you might have showed me, and he was like, Clement, he hard, right? Clement was hard, but he don't teach nothing weird. He teach what a regular guy in the truth would teach. He'll teach you to keep the laws of God and believe in Hamashiach. Simple, and he'll dive deep into understanding and break it down easy, right? He hard. But that's what I was meaning. Like once you take your time, over time, you'll be more secure in doctrine. You'll be more unmovable in doctrine because you'll get more information that substantiate the doctrine. Um, I wanted to go. To First Timothy 4 because that's what me and Malachi was reading. Now, Paul was spitting. Bro, is my blender super loud? Can you hear that?
It's low.
Okay, cool. About the same. All right, so I'm gonna read this. We was just reading this, me and Malachi. First Timothy chapter 4, verse 1, it says, Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in a latter time some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. Why is Paul telling Timothy this? You got all kinds, because really you got all kinds of doctrines out, all kinds of heresies, all kinds of religions, all kinds of idols. I mean, and when Malachi looked it up, one of the things that they was dealing with was agnostics, people who told you kind of got to live without material, and they kind of tell you carnal, you not thinking high enough. They tell you, bro, you're not conscious enough. All right, it says, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron, they were forbidden to marry, and commanding to abstain from meats, which God have created to receive with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. So you got people running around saying, look, you kind of carnal if you get a wife, bro, and you're not gonna make it. That was a doctrine. You're not supposed to be married. It's not the time for having a wife. Right? I don't know why they it's not the time to have a wife. And you got people saying, look, it's not okay to eat meat. I mean, it's the same thing today. But then,
Hold on, real quick. You said agnostic. Are you saying agnostic or are you saying Gnostic?
Gnostic.
Okay, cool. My bad. Go ahead.
Gnostic. My bad. Why? What you see with the agnostic?
Because they're two different things, and I don't know.
Agnostics, do they claim not to not believe in anything?
To a certain extent, they like don't know if there's a God, but they think it's weird, but it's different. So that's why I was asking. I'm like,
Yeah, I might, because I'm used to saying agnostic, I might have said that.
yeah.
Like, I know there's a higher power, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Could you hear Malachi?
Yeah, that's he got it right.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people claim they're agnostic and like that they believe in a higher power. A lot of people, we came across people like that and they still got cut because we'll show them that they believe in the God of the Bible. When niggas get on that, I'm agnostic, I know there's a God, but I don't know who. All of their principles and their moralities come from the God of the Bible, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know, we ask them, is it okay to steal? Well, no. You know, well, how do you know that it's not okay to steal? And their beliefs will be coming from the scriptures. Is it okay to murder? Well, no. Well, how do you know it's not? You believe in this higher power, and each time their higher power and their moral compass, it comes from the Bible. Me and Aharon and dealt with people like that, and they just get shredded because they don't even know that they believe in the God of the Bible, but they do. They just spooked out by it. They just spooked out by it. Let me hook up my charger, man. Everybody, when it's all said and done, everybody knows that the God of the Bible is the God. Everybody knows. But you got so many doctrines. It says, which God have created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. So I remember we'd be in the meditation station. This is when we used to have it cracking it on fire. This is when we used to get in there and we'd just get on, we'd get in smoke. We'll pull out this scripture in 1 Timothy 4, and we'll have one of the soldiers or one of the, honorary members in there, like Shawab. We'll have them in there and we'll be like, what are you going to do? Right? We can't eat meat. That's off. Oh, no. We use this to say that all things is lawful.
Mm-hmm.
We use this to say you can eat pork. Because look at what Paul is saying. He said, okay, it says, forbidden to marry and commanding to abstain from meats, which God have created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. For every creature of God is good and nothing to be refused. Yes. If it be received with thanksgiving, for it is sanctified by the word of God and prayer. And then Aharon bring that out. I'm in the background saying, amen. Bring it out. And now Shawab, he's stressing because he thought that we couldn't eat pork. But we telling them, bro, you can eat it. What you gonna do? How do you break this down? Teach us the doctrine. And the only way you can rectify these kind of points is with understanding. Everybody try and run from it and go here and jump over there and get away from 1 Timothy 4. But the only way to deal with it is to deal with it. And now you got to say, look, Paul wasn't teaching that with the scripture. He was really teaching this. He was really addressing this. He was addressing people who deals with this. Now you got to edify. But if you ain't got the bag, you just don't got it. If you don't got the bag, you don't got it. But the reason why I went here is because earlier this week, or like 2 days ago, we was reading this and we came across Gnostics and some of the things they believed in, some of the things they didn't believe in. They were trying to separate themselves from everything. And they believed that knowledge equaled redemption and salvation. It wasn't really about faith. It wasn't about works. It wasn't about keeping the commandments. It was just about knowledge. It was just about knowledge. That's what it was about, right? But this chapter, it's pretty. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. But yeah, yeah.
You gonna give niggas understanding on that food, dog? You just gonna leave niggas out there?
Just poison niggas.
Malachi said, "I just poisoned niggas." Malachi just poisoned. My bad. He said, "I poisoned niggas." Nah, that's what you for.
That's what I'm for.
Yeah, what's your favorite precept?
Bro.
Shalom, the chosen one. We got Shalom, Kevin Doyle. Shawab got it.
I got
He
more.
said he had me looking stupid with the Romans 14. Yeah, that one is a crazy one.
Yeah. When I string that Romans 14 up with that, they get nasty.
That's off.
Bro, it get real nasty. But you can go back to it.
All right. From the top.
Yes.
All right, cool. I got you from the top. 1 Timothy 4:1, it says, "Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having a conscience seared with a hot iron, forbidden to marry, and concerning to abstain from meats, which God have created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth."
Okay.
Gotcha.
So Paul is kind of touching on a plethora of things here. This is why, he said doctrines and all kinds of stuff, right? It's a lot of stuff going on during this time. One of the things that was going on during this time, especially when he was writing this letter to Timothy. Timothy was in Ephesus. Ephesus was a big place for idolatry, Diana worship, so on and so forth. And with that worship, you would go and sacrifice meat to that idol. You would sacrifice food unto that idol. And a lot of the times with the food, they would put it into the shambles. They would put it into the market, right? They would put the food that they sacrificed into the market. And since they put the food into the market, you got our people that's coming up saying, okay, we can't eat meat because it's sacrificed to an idol. You can't eat meat because it's sacrificed to an idol, so on and so forth, right? This is why we get Paul speaking about this in Romans chapter 14. It says, him that is weak, I'm starting at verse 1, him that is weak in the faith receive ye, but not to doubtful disputations. For one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs. Paul is not saying if you go on a damn plant-based diet, you weak. Paul is saying you're weak-minded and you're weak in the faith if you believe that you can't eat something that's sacrificed to an idol. Why is he saying that? Because Paul further states in to the church of Corinth that an idol is nothing, right? An idol is nothing. You can eat it. Now, it's a difference if you in there, you getting down with the damn worship and you praising Diana and you partaking in everything. No, you can't be doing all that. But if they sacrifice to an idol and then serve it into the meat market, eat it. This is why I got one more precept and then I'm gonna let you grab that. One more precept, right? Because this is key to what's going on in that Timothy. This is 1 Corinthians 10 and verse 25. Whatsoever is sold in the shambles, that eat, asking no question for conscience sake. Whatsoever sold in the shambles, eat it. Right? That's why he said whoever eats herbs is weak, because you're eating herbs out of the fear of another god. When that's not how we get down. We don't believe in other gods. The other gods is idols. They're nothing but wood and stone. But it's back on you.
What is that called? We looked it up. You sent me a picture of it too, and you got all of the different temples and idol. What is it called? Aurora?
Damn, hold on, man.
You know what I'm talking about, bro.
I know what you're talking about. Let me see.
What is that called?
It was across from the altar, Upper Agora.
Upper
Agora.
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 I said Aura. Aurora. I want that one picture. It was good.
You want the picture? Okay. If you want the picture, you got to type in Pergamum Acropolis.
Okay, there we go.
Type in Pergamum Acropolis. Now, this what we're finna look at is a place in Pergamum. This is
What?
it's not in Ephesus, I don't think, because this one over here is dealing with Zeus.
Right, you said it's not in Ephesus?
I'm saying this one's in Pergamum. This one's not Ephesus.
Oh, okay.
The
how you spell it?
ACR.
What?
My bad.
Oh, okay.
You had Pergamum good, brother.
Oh, okay. I forgot already. How you spell Pergamum?
Right there. You PERGAMUM.
All right.
Space Acropolis.
Okay, that was tough for me. Okay, I'm looking for.
I know
this one right here. I like this one.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah,
that's what,
check it out.
Yeah,
You got the temple. It's a lot of meat in there. All right, go ahead.
I was going to say this is kind of the layout of a lot of where we was living at. You know, the little Greek city states and where the churches was at, and you see you got the damn altar of Zeus, and just because this is in Pergamum doesn't mean that it wasn't the same kind of thing set up in Corinthians.
Right.
And it wasn't the same kind of thing in Ephesus. Go ahead.
Salakia, I keep cutting you off. I thought you was finished earlier. But this is like the equivalent to like a damn downtown.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of like equivalent to the place to be. This is where it's mainly jumping. Right? This is where everybody at. Anybody who is anybody, they trying to show up here. Right? This is where, if you don't know, temples was important back then. You know how I'm gonna kind of paint a picture. Our temple, the temple of the Most High, right? That's kind of like the place to be. When stuff is going on, you show up here. It was like the capital of this is where you show up. I mean, Jerusalem is already the place to be, but then inside of Jerusalem, you got to show up here. This is where we link up. This is where we congregate. This is where we discuss matters. The temple. This is where we discuss matters. You know, so I'm kind of trying to get everybody to understand that. But look at how they main place to be is set up. You got the theater stoa. You got the altar of Zeus right here. You got another theater. It says temple of another temple. How you say this? Dionysus. How you say this? Like Dionysus. I don't know. I know Aharon good with those kind of things. Anyways, you got Arsenal. You got Trajanium. You got palaces right here. These is for the big bros, big dogs. You got a library. You got another temple of Athena. You got another temple, a ruler cult. Then you got this upper agora. Now I'm gonna get y'all some information on the agora because it's needed. This is important. It says agora. In ancient Greece, a public open space used for assemblies and markets. So the agora, it goes back to what they would describe in a Greek city-state as the marketplace. This is where you kind of linked up, like right here, it says assemblies. This is where people would assemble, and this is where people would come and buy food, buy, sell, and trade items. You got to go to the agora. Now, why is this important? Why is it important to know that? Because you got to deal with certain stuff, right? We're gonna go right here. All right, so this is going into the agora and the meat market, and I haven't read through this in a while, so I'm gonna kind of read through it You know what I'm saying? How just to get back where because I remember going through this, but I don't remember. I know it was key points in here that I wanted. I didn't really want the whole thing. It says on the right side of Apollo and it says along the road was Stoa portico, which housed an agora market. Even though the old part of the city was about, there were 3 markets and nearly 10 temples. In addition to main governmental buildings, the temples and the markets, some of which sold meat, were located right next door to each other. Now this is important, right? This is actually right now he's dealing with Corinth, right? But earlier we looked up Pergamum, which is another place where we had churches and Israelites at. St. Paul, yeah. St. Paul. So he's dealing with different places, different Greek city-states, right? You got Corinth, Pergamum, Smyrna, Ephesus. You got different places, but you had the same kind of things going on, right? You got temples, and then you got the agoras or the markets right next door to each other. It says often food was sacrificed to the gods in the temples, and part of the animal was burned as a sacrifice, and the rest of the edible meat was eaten by people participating in the meal. So when it comes to these different temples and these different gods, you couldn't just be a poor person or a regular guy to go in here and just have the best cut of the damn sacrifice and partake in that ritual for the god. You had to kind of be somebody. You had to kind of be a damn statesman. You got to kind of know somebody or be plugged in or have money. You got to be of somebody. You got to be somebody. So the thing was, all of that meat wouldn't be eaten. It says some of the meat would also be sold in the markets across the streets. And what's across the street? The market. So if they don't eat the whole damn animal or whatever they sacrificed, they bring it across the street so it don't go to waste, and they would sell it in the marketplace. And it kind of I like to make this point too. When you're dealing with the Levites they would get brung a sacrifice. They would sacrifice a portion of it, burn the fat. They would do this with this, do this with this, but they would get to keep some of it. I believe it's the shoulder. They definitely some of the sons and the children of Aaron, whoever did particular parts, they would get particular parts of the meat. Same thing. They do the sacrifice. They eating this. They eating parts of this. They doing this, but they'll sell this. You know what I'm saying? The parts that's not as good, they're selling in the marketplace. Of course, the Levites, how we run things was different. We're not gonna be sacrificing nothing to no weird guy. At least we wasn't supposed to. So it was safe for other people to eat. But it wasn't safe because everything wasn't meant for everybody to eat, right? It said in the law. All of it, it wasn't going like that, right? The Levites had a lot of people get stressed out when they come into the truth because they hear that it's 613 commandments that they got to keep. You don't even know how many ordinances and laws that strictly applies to the sons of Aaron. How many laws strictly applies to the sons of Korah? How many strictly applies to just Levites in general? It's extensive. You got X amount of laws that's strictly for a Nazarite. How many laws that's strictly for a ruler and a judge? How many laws that's strictly for a king? You see what I'm saying? You're none of those. You're a regular Israelite. You're a regular guy. You know what I'm saying? Don't be stressed out by that.
You got about 17 laws you need to keep, buddy.
What we really got to focus our efforts on is loving our brother in our heart. And nigga, like that's really key. No, for real though, that's important. If we love our brother and our stuff, that's the main thing. That's why Hamashiach said what he said. Look, love God and love your people. Humility. Malachi became humility a long time ago. I gotta spill it. I gotta spill the joke. I don't know exactly what we was talking about, but I know Malachi was kind of telling us like he gotta be humble or he gotta improve in being humble. And he how it rolled off his lips, he said, I gotta be humility. He said, bro, I gotta be humility. Me and Aaron was like, you gotta be what, brother? And ever since then, we just been rocking with it. You gotta be humility. Fuck being humble, be humility.
Be humility.
It's deeper, huh? Anyways. Anyways, y'all kind of see what's going on from this. Yeah. So going back to 1 Timothy 4, you got doctrines arising, and people are saying, you gotta be a vegetarian because you don't know what they did with the meat. You don't know if they, did a sacrifice. You don't know. And that same spirit is on the earth. It is prevalent on earth. People will say that you gotta be a vegan. Let's get this right here.
Bro, it cracked me up how brothers say you can't eat things sacrificed to idols. And this is not a shot at anybody in particular. But it say brothers be like, you can't eat things sacrificed to idols. And then straightway in the next sentence be like, bro, everything in America sacrificed to idols. It's like, damn, dog, what you so what are you finna do?
So
what's going on?
How do you
What
how do
you
you
doing?
rectify this, dog?
Are you in sin constantly, or what are you not eating? What's going on?
It was some I remember. All right, so I got two scriptures. I gotta pull this one up right now because I'm gonna trick it off. Hold on, don't say that, Mac. I'm gonna forget it. I'm already forgetting it right now.
Motherfucking slipping.
It is. It's in Corinthians. I know it's in Corinthians, dog. Nothing in Corinthians popped up. Oh, must need altogether. Blue letter ain't the place to key words.
No, it ain't.
Must needs be. Let's see. Paul really got that bag on him, bro. But you know what I want. You don't know what I want, bro. You know what I want. Hold on, it gotta be like 2 Corinthians 6, bro. Needs. Maybe instead of earth, it say world. Okay, it's 1 Corinthians 5. See, I told you. All right, check it out.
5 and 9.
Yep. All right, so Paul is really top tier when it comes to understand. So, real quick, I'm gonna summarize what's going on up here. You had a man deal with his father's wife, right? Paul caught wind of it, and he like, even though I'm not in Corinth, I'm already judging like I was there. This man needs to go. Get him out of there. Deliver him to Satan. He can't be in the church. Why can't he be in the church? Because a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. Get him out of there. This is not what we doing. Now, he finna touch base some more. He said, I wrote unto you in an epistle not to company with fornicators. So Paul already told y'all not to deal with fornicators. He's a fornicator. You got to get him out of there. It says, yet not altogether with fornicators of this world or with the covetous, or extortioners, or with idolaters, for then must ye needs go out of the world. So what is Paul saying? Let's keep breathing. But now I have written unto you not to keep company if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator. Now here's a key point. If any man that is a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or idolater, or railer, or drunkard, or an extortioner, with such in one not to, it says, with such in one, no, not to eat. So Paul is giving you more understanding. Because if Paul say, look, don't keep company with fornicators, you can't even, you walk into a store and somebody start chatting with you, in the back of your mind, Paul said, don't deal with fornicators. He's not in the truth. Don't deal with drunkards. He's not in the truth. Don't deal with sinners. Well, he's not in the truth. He's not. Chances are your average guy that you just walk into a damn auto zone and talk to, he's a sinner. He's a drunkard. He's an extortioner. He's an idolater. He's all of the above. So now Paul got to put understanding behind it, because Paul can't teach something that Hamashiach wasn't dealing with. Because didn't Hamashiach himself say he sat with the sinners? So now we got to get some understanding. There's a difference between someone who's ignorant and a brother who knows better, and he goes and commit fornication, and he goes and deal with idolatry, and he goes and, but then you got someone who's just ignorant. They don't know. They wasn't brought up in the truth. They wasn't taught the truth. They don't have the knowledge yet. So Paul is like, look, if it's a so-called brother, a member of the damn church, don't kick it with him. Get him out of there. Now, if it's somebody who's just coming in, they don't really know any better, the circumstances is way different. It's way, way different. So the reason why I went all the way here is to say, it's kind of to align the same line of thinking, the same kind of understanding to if you walk into a Walmart and you buy a pack of chicken, should you be sitting right there stressing like, I can't eat this because I don't know if it's been given up to idol or not. And then you kind of say, look, I'm just not going to eat meat ever again. No, that's not the breakdown. That's not the breakdown. Now, if you walk into a place and, niggas is like, look, we just prayed over it. We did X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? This is for Zeus. This seat is for you, kind of get, and then on the back of the seat is like a piece of tape with a piece of paper and it say your name on it, and you kind of like, okay, thank you. And you take a seat, and you kind of bring some other Israelites with you, and you got honor, you got a +3. You know how people come with a +1? He showed with a +3, and it's just Israelites, and now y'all all in the temple of Zeus, just
and it's a weird chant in the back.
All hail Zeus. Malachi said, nigga, then Zeus appeared after the chant. Because now you're teaching your brothers it's okay to be an idolater. A brother might really come up like, okay, it's okay to chant to Zeus and make Zeus appear. Hey, and people really get on that. I mean, in the book of Samuel, I believe. Oh man, no. In Kings, I'm gonna grab it because why not? If I can grab it, shoot. It got to be like chapter 18. Is it First Kings, Second Kings?
So, real quick, just for a disclaimer, we're not saying participate in 4th of July.
We're not saying that.
We're not saying participate in Thanksgiving dinner. We're not saying participate in Christmas. We're not saying none of that. You should be far from those things, because some people, well, I can eat now. Now I will say this though, I'm not one of them niggas that's not finna just starve on Thanksgiving Day. I'm gonna have me some food. I'm not talking about Thanksgiving dinner and food and cookout. No, I'm gonna eat like I regularly eat. You know what I'm saying? But if you showing up to the whole shebang and you kind of got the turkey squabble on and you got the cranberry sauce on you,
He got the he got the Thanksgiving sweatshirt on.
Yeah, he got that ready, you know, with a fork and a big knife.
And he kind of got his kids dressed up, and they all taking the picture on Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
That's not it.
We're not condoning that. We're not condoning that.
This is for the brothers. This is for the brothers who got sense, right?
Yeah.
When we talk about stuff like this is for brothers who got sense.
Yeah. So, like, this is really we just getting historical context to stuff. Just showing what's going on, you know? Just showing what's going on.
People. So look, I wanna re-say what you said in my own words.
Mm-hmm.
You got a day like Thanksgiving or 4th of July. Let's use 4th of July. We don't want to participate in 4th of July, right? We don't want to be out shooting Roman candles on 4th of July, and we go spend $300 on a new fit.
We don't want to be in the spirit of 4th of July.
Yeah, you don't want to be in the spirit of 4th of July. I like the Thanksgiving one though. You don't want to be in the spirit of Thanksgiving. But does that mean that you can't eat food on Thanksgiving? Does that mean you can't go into the store, buy some chicken, and eat? Because then you got people, you can utterly detest it. You can fast on that day. You can not eat on that day. I'm actually for that. You can do that. But don't try and make it seem like it's a sin if I just, do what I normally do on a normal day. Because that's the 4th of July is a normal day.
It's the 4th of July, nigga. It's a regular day.
The 4th day of July. You know what I'm saying? So, but you got stuff going on during this time. I mean, during those times too. So what? It's a fancy word. It's a fancy word. I can't think of it right now. But I got 2 scriptures I wanted to bring out. The one was this one, the 1 Corinthians, and the other one was this right here, Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 13. Right, and this is kind of going back to the meat that you find in your regular markets. Ezekiel 4 and 13. And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I drive them. So he already prophesied in Ezekiel that we was going to be amongst the Gentiles eating defiled bread. And this bread, it's not necessarily just food. This scripture is manifold. It's food, it's physical stuff, and it's spiritual stuff too. But this isn't just applying to our time. It was applying to our forefathers' time. When we was in them Greek city-states heavy, where we was in Pergamum, when we was in Smyrna, when we was in Ephesus, when we was in Corinth, right? We was eating that defiled bread among the Gentiles. That's just prophecy coming to pass. Does that mean that you can't eat? Because if you want me to be honest, like Aharon said, a piece of bread can be defiled. I mean, bread, if you look at the damn ingredients of the regular bread that people have, it's defiled. The motherfucker don't even start with wheat. You know what I'm saying? It's defiled. You go get a bag of chips, it's defiled. There's all kinds of ingredients in there, all kinds of stuff in there. I seen somebody pull out something and it was like they get this from a roach, and it was in one of our ingredients. I mean, it's just defiled. What can you do? You can try your best to stay away from it, of course, but are you going to be able to leave it altogether? No, you're going to end up eating something that's defiled. Even the fruit, they got all kind of pesticides and wax and all kind of shit just in the damn fruit, on the damn fruit. It's hard to get away from it. So am I going to sit here and starve for, that's not the breakdown. We stay away from what we can stay away from, but the Most High already said you're going to eat defiled bread among the Gentiles.
Salakia.
Yeah.
I got to be the voice of reason.
Yeah, go ahead. Because if you don't, they're going to think I'm an idolater.
Yeah. No, he's not saying just because our bread is defiled that it's okay to eat something knowingly it has pork in it.
Right.
Okay. I know somebody looking for a way out. Somebody looking for that. You know what I'm saying? That white Jesus hand to reach out and be like, I got you. No, it ain't coming. If you know a goddamn pork in it, stay away from it, right?
Keep the commandments.
Keep the damn law, brother. It ain't, come on, stop thinking how you thinking. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm talking to somebody. Ain't nobody even put no comment in there, but I'm cooking somebody up right now.
Yeah.
Somebody getting ate up. But yeah, just because your bread is defiled among the Gentiles, that does not mean that you can willingly just go out and be like, yeah, I mean, it's defiled. You know, they said it's defiled. I might as well. Might as well ball out, bro. I mean, everything's defiled anyway. No.
Yeah. It's already defiled. I'm just going to grab some lobster.
No. That's a good way to
That's some. If you got that kind of mindset, you on your way out of the truth. You're on your way.
If you thinking like that, read Irenaeus.
You already out of the truth. That ain't the spirit.
That's not the spirit.
That's not the spirit of the Most High. Yeah. Man. So people always say this. When your conversation revolves around the Bible, you hear people say stuff like, you just hear people say stuff. One of the things that we hear or heard is people say, you know, I wish I could have lived during the time of, you know, Jesus and walked in that time. Like I would have believed on Christ. But bro, you don't know the half. It's actually a scripture that say that in like 2nd Esdras. And he kind of say not that it was easier in those times. Like your judgment is not good when you say that. Niggas was hella spiritual back then. Niggas think they spiritual now with sage and trying to clear the room of bad energy. Them niggas are summon some shit on your bro, they was turning sticks into snakes on shit, bro. Nigga, the soothsayer popped up and pulled Samuel out of the grave. You would have been over there.
You'd have been over there crazy.
Bro, you would have been over there doing divination. Thinking that you serving God.
Oh shit.
Don't say nothing stupid like that. That's why we had a whole law. If there's any witches, like kill them. Because they was actually doing stuff. I'm not talking about just wearing crystals and you got a whole bunch of piercings and you got the dark, you know, shadows under the eyes with the makeup. I'm not just talking about you looked the part. They was actually on some Calderon kind of time. They had potions. They really had it like that. Can I hear
me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, during those times, bro, the church was being persecuted heavily. Like that Pergamos we just looked up, the altar of Zeus was in there. And inside that room with the altar of Zeus, they had a brazen bull in that mud. And if they caught you lacking, if they caught you worshiping, you know, the Most High God and being a Christian during that time, they'll put your ass in that bull and they'll cook you up. A lot of you niggas are being in that altar of Zeus. I'm not talking about in the bull. I'm talking about getting down with Zeus, bowing, bending the knee. Thinking, to hell with them days. Man. Shit, man. You got so much nonsense going on.
Bro, people underestimate what it means to really be Hellenized.
Yeah.
The Greek fashions was hot. Nazar, that's not the one I'm looking for. Yeah, that's not the one I'm looking for. But anyways, people forget that the whole world, nigga, even Rome was getting Hellenized. I mean, everybody was speaking Greek. Everybody was down with the Greek fashions, the Greek idols. Every nation that came into power, they had a strong God behind them. Even America, they came with Christianity. Go ahead.
You got to remember that this is Esau we dealing with, or not even just only Esau. A lot of the other heathens too. When they come with their gods and they belief and they rulership, they coming with the force of the sword. Nigga, it's either serve us or die, nigga. And a lot of niggas, y'all not considering that. And it's gonna be like it in these last days too. We gonna see who really believe in these last days when Esau pull up with, fully automatic machine guns
with force.
Yeah, and they pull up with much force.
They
You
pull up with
faithful.
Force.
We was talking about that last night.
What?
How we finna see a sword judgment executed on our people. We gotta, 2/3 gotta go, and Lord willing, it's not us. But if it's not us, then we gotta watch that happen to our people, and it's not
nothing to take lightly.
Right.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, because I was finna look something up.
I was gonna say, people think like just because you're 1/3, like you're good.
Yeah.
No, it's not. That's not the nigga. It's not gonna be like that. If you see all of your people getting wiped out, you're gonna have bad thoughts. You might even have bad thoughts to the Most High. You might even want to fold. You might feel guilty for being a 1/3. You might believe that you're a 2/3, and you might doubt. But you gotta deal with seeing just death in general. Fuck your head up. But you gotta see all your people die. It's not gonna be easy being a 1/3. Like, that's something to consider. What you want me to look up though?
George Washington enthroned as Zeus.
Yeah. Let me share my screen.
These niggas ain't changed.
Yeah, when Aharon showed me this, I was like, damn, where'd you get this from? Look at this shit.
These niggas have not changed.
Look at this. This your man's. This your man's. Hold on, let me get another one.
Everything they was getting down with back in the day, they getting down with still.
This is George Washington.
This big Uno.
It says George. Look at this. Look at this. It says George Washington goes Greek.
See that?
And he on the Zeus throne, boogieing on him.
See that?
Throwing up the set. that's my Naquan voice.
He says why not? But everything that them niggas was doing and getting down with back then, like Antiochus and just everything. Come on, man. That shit finna come. This shit finna happen again. The scriptures say, have a nation change their gods that are no gods? Hell no. They getting down with the same stuff. They got damn George Washington as Zeus. That's madness. That's madness. You looking for the Zeus statue?
Something like this.
Also, there's a lot. This is on my spirit to say this, bro. They coming. The technology and shit that they finna, it's not just gonna be guns. The technology and stuff they finna unleash is something you gotta be preparing your mind for. They finna unleash some crazy technology against us. Against everyone. That's part of it.
Yeah, you ain't gonna be able to find it because it says in 391 AD, with the rise of Christianity, the Romans banned the Olympic Games and closed down the Greek temples. It says the statue of Zeus was subsequently transferred to Constantinople. In 462 AD, a fire destroyed the palace where the statue was located, causing it to be permanently lost. So they don't got really just no images of that motherfucker.
Okay. I was just reading about Constantinople.
Yeah. Crazy, man.
It's a lot of history happened. Like, it's a lot of key events that happened in the last 100 years. So if you go back 1,000 years or 1,500 years, it's just so much information out there, bro. So many doctrines, so many beliefs. It's a lot. It's a lot of learning.
I want to go to Western side of the world, and not for what everybody think. I want to go because I want to see what kind of books they got. Because over here, did I say Western? I mean Eastern. I'm sorry. Because over here, we only got about 400 years of America, right? Our books aren't ancient over here in America. Over there, nigga, they got books that's been here since forever, my nigga. You go to damn like Alexandria in Egypt. I think when the Ptolemy Empire was up, they had like the biggest library like on earth. It was crazy. Nigga, come on.
Yeah.
Imagine the books, imagine the history, imagine the knowledge these niggas got in those libraries, bro, that a lot of people probably don't care about. Just sitting there. You got the medieval times, you got the damn times of Egypt, you got Persian and Mede, you got all of that, because all of that took place over there. Over here, we don't got a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, could
So
you imagine stepping into a place like this?
bro, I'd be in there for damn days, bro. I'd be in the damn Barnes and Noble for days already.
Bro, yeah, but Barnes and Noble is lit. Whenever I do make my way in there, it's pretty lit.
He said he's pretty lit.
It's pretty lit. Because you kind of just like trying to see what all they got.
Yeah.
Like, in this section is this, and this is world history over here, and you kind of checking it out. You might grab one, open it. What was I finna look up? Tell me you've seen Avatar, the
Oh,
last
yeah, that's what you're talking about.
Airbender. I spelled that wrong.
You spelled that wrong.
This episode right here was knocking.
Yeah, it was.
It was a giant owl spirit tasked with collecting knowledge, information, and specimens for the spirit library. But this episode,
I remember that.
was knocking. This owl right here was top tier. And one of the things that the owl had this thing, you cannot use any of this information for bad or for evil. Right? This is what the library looked like outside. That's because the whole thing was buried by the sand over the years. But underneath, when you make your way, they climbed through this window right. And when they went in there, this thing was huge, bro. This is what it was. This is what it used to look like. So they only seen the very top of it. But bro, y'all gotta tell. You remember these guys, bro? Bro, these are the homies, bro. They'll go pick up a book on the other side of the world. They go pick up a book. Bro, this episode was top tier. Golly, bro. Avatar was hard.
Yeah, it was.
Damn.
It's nostalgic.
That's hot. But then that one, so what ended up happening, I'm not trying to geek out too much. Right? The Avatar and his crew, they had some guy who was just a nerd, right? He was he would die for knowledge. He just wanted to find this library. He'd been looking for it for years. He ended up going with him. Once he got in there, he wasn't trying to leave. He'd been looking for this place for, I don't remember how long, but he'd been looking for this place. The owl seen that the Avatar's crew, they was trying to abuse the knowledge. They was trying to get knowledge so they could go fight people. So they could, fight the Fire Nation, I believe. They're trying to get information on what, like the solar eclipse or something. Man, y'all gotta watch Avatar, bro. It's hot. It's hot, man. But anyways, the bro, he was like, bro, y'all go without me. I'm staying here. The whole temple getting buried in sand. So he finna die. He don't know what's finna happen to him. He said, I'm staying.
With a smile on his face.
He went out hard, bro. Holding books. Holding books. When I seen that, I was like, this Avatar is the shit. Bro, I ain't really got nothing else though, man. It was fun. This right here, man. Y'all gotta watch this, man. Y'all gotta watch this. It's knocking. And the fact that it's an owl, that's kind of crazy.
Owls signify wisdom, supposedly.
You see that? Yeah. Bro, the Most High made a
Supposedly.
bird who can fly and not make a sound. That's
That's
top
scary
tier,
as
bro.
bird.
Bro, he made a bird that can do a 720 with his neck. An owl.
Crazy part is he ain't even the scariest bird.
That's the crazy part. The crazy part is when you sleep, he awake. You got to deal with that. You got to deal with that, bro. You got to deal with that.
Most High made a bird that can go damn near 200 miles per hour. That little nigga nuts.
Oh my goodness.
That nigga headbutt you, you're done.
Bro, I didn't know this. Because of the shape and size of their large eyes, owls cannot move their eyes to look around.
Damn. That's
They
probably
look-
why they got,
Yeah,
niggas got that head like that.
that's crazy. Females are slightly larger than males. Owls are adept hunters. Owls have specialized auditory functions that help provide acoustic information to locate and pursue prey. I did not know that. They tapped in, bro.
Yeah.
That's probably why they
They get on some and know that it's a bug over there.
they looking for it.
They look. Now they
Bro,
own.
owls get big too.
Yeah,
Owls get huge.
yeah,
It's insane. But
yeah. Go ahead.
ow. You ready for my closing precepts?
Yeah, they
Nigga,
hard, bro. Hold on. I'm not ready. Why are owls? Damn, this is already hot. I said, why are owls symbols of wisdom? Some historians speculate that an owl's ability to see in the dark, that's already hot, have been interpreted metaphorically as an ability to detect truth and wisdom. Tell me that ain't hot. That bangs. That's hot.
Y'all niggas finna end up in idolatry.
I'm just saying that's hot though.
That's what them Egyptians thought too, nigga. They thought that shit was hot.
Bro, it says often referred to as the Owl of Athena. Didn't know that.
See that? Look, look.
Didn't know that.
Where the stones?
Bro, we was just talking about it, man. We were just talking about Athena. I didn't know that they had she was dealing with the owl too.
Yeah, because she was the goddess of wisdom, supposedly.
Supposedly. Yeah.
The Canaanites was dealing with a owl god.
Like the OVO. I remember you showed me that.
Yep.
Hold on, I gotta pull that up though. OVO owls.
What the fuck, OVO?
OVO.
That nigga
Owls.
said, the fuck OVO.
And what was it? Canaanite.
Canaanite God.
I don't know how to spell Canaanite.
CANAANITE.
OVO, my nigga.
OVO.
I'm the only one that this is hidden.
Look,
It is celebrity. Wow.
OVO. Egyptian owl hieroglyph. They was on that kind of time. It was one. Right. Aharon showed me a particular picture, and it was like, it was something. He showed me something, bro. It was crazy.
So it's like OVO, that's like a owl guy.
We believe it's going into idolatry, but the picture that Aharon showed me, it was like Canaanites, I believe, or like some kind of like Hamites.
Yeah. Nigga, I showed that shit was so long time ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Whenever you show me now,
Type in.
yeah, these niggas are spooky. But this one is wait, where it go? I seen one that was spooky. All of these are spooky. It was some. I really want to find that same picture, but I don't. It's going, bro. It ain't gonna happen like that.
I'm looking at my screenshots.
It was a long time ago. You want me to type it in for you?
Damn it. Let's try this.
They pulling up with the mobile.
Go to the results. Pictures. They talking about Moloch, my nigga. Click this.
Yeah, they keep pulling him up on my shit too.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want us to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Hold on.
Anyways, we see that ours is linked to idolatry. Period. I'm not saying you can't appreciate the Most High God's creation.
Yeah.
Don't, of course, don't worship. That's like rule number one.
Don't worship the damn bird, brother. This brother worshiping birds and shit.
You kind of walk into the brother house. It's a dark purple orb in the corner with a black tablecloth, cards. Brother, you go in the bathroom, it's owl themed.
Owl.
Hey, when you walk in, he got that automatic noise that happens. You know how they got the noise and be like, front door open. That motherfucker, whoo-hoo.
He said, "Ooh." That brother be like, yeah, he just put a spirit of protection over you, brother, when you walked in.
I'm cool. He's
Take this motherfucker off me.
back door, hoo-hoo.
He said, back door, hoo.
You got how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop Bob in there? A one.
There he is.
Woo-hoo. All right, bro, we can get it.
All right. This is 1 Corinthians 15:58. It says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Then I got Galatians 6:9. And let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not.
Con. The last precept we usually pull is Sirach, chapter 43 and verse 30. And it says, when you glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as you can, for even yet will he far exceed. And when you exalt him, put forth all your strength and be not weary, because you can never go far enough. If you ever find yourself in a position where you want to glorify the Most High God, you want to shout out to the Most High God, you want to throw up a prayer, but you can't because you're around certain people, you already know what time it is. You got to recognize that. You got to identify that, because that's a big problem. You can't say all praises to the Most High God because who you're with, they're going to look at you and, look at you weird. You know what it is, man? You got to start moving those people out of your circle and putting righteous people in their stead. Look, if you want to go far, take people with you. If you want to go fast, go by yourself. That's what my father-in-law told me. In this truth, you got to be able to go far. It's a long marathon. It's not a quick sprint. Look, when I first came into the truth, I thought I had 3 months before the world was going to end and Hamashiach come back. That was 4 years ago. So if you want to go far, go with people. If you want to go fast and you want to go by then go by yourself. But you got to be able to endure. So it's time to start having righteous people you can endure with, because you can't do it all by yourself. You know, no matter how strong you are. Hey, Hamashiach was the strongest one to ever do it, and he had people with him. Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes 4:9. Two are better than one, because they have a good reward
For the labor.
For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to lift him up. So I strongly advise y'all to congregate with some righteous brothers, man.
Hey, he said he strongly advised you to congregate with some righteous brothers and sisters. You don't have to be in the camp, but I'm telling you, it's important to not be alone. One demon can come sift you out, but if you got, some brothers that you can rely on, it's going to be harder to get y'all to sift all of y'all out. And the same thing go for sisters. You don't want to be alone. Sisters in the truth, they usually are alone. You got to have some sisters, some righteous sisters, where you sick and your sister comes show up with some soup. You know what I'm saying? Because me and the bros, we got activities. We go hit the gym. We work together. We dive into scriptures together. We might play the game together. We teach together. We do that it's for a reason. And we get good rewards and fruit from all of that. Right? So I'm not going to beat all of that up over y'all head. I briefly touch on it every time we in the Sabbath class. This is Through the Spirit, number 29. We'll be back next week with number 30. All praises to the Most High. So we give all praises, all honor, and all glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shah. The water for tuning in. We hope y'all have a beautiful Shabbat. Shalom.
Shalom.